Hey, everyone, I'm Lisa. I don't even know where to start. Or how to get all this weight off my chest. I've been sitting here in my empty house in suburban Ohio, staring at this microphone for an hour, wondering if anyone out there can understand what I'm going through. Has anyone ever felt like the world they built for 22 years just crumbled in a single moment? I'm not good at storytelling, and I'm definitely not the type to cry in front of people. But today, I need to talk. I need someone to hear me. Because if I don't let this out, I'm afraid I'll suffocate under the pain. I've been married to Dave for 22 years. 22 years, almost half my life. We met when we were young, at this little coffee shop near the community college where I was taking some accounting classes. Dave wasn't the romantic type, no grand gestures or sweet talk. He was awkward, cracked dumb jokes. But he was honest. I liked that about him. That realness. We got married after 2 years of dating. Nothing fancy. Just a small ceremony in my parents' backyard. Then moved out here to the suburbs of Ohio. Life wasn't easy, but I always thought we were a team. I worked double shifts at the grocery store. Mornings at 6 a.m., nights till 10 p.m., to keep up with the bills. To make sure the bank didn't take this house. Dave worked as a technician at a small company. Decent pay but nothing to write home about. We weren't rich. Didn't take fancy vacations or drive nice cars. But I thought we were okay. I thought we were happy. Then Ethan came along. My son. My greatest joy. When he was born, I cried for a whole day out of pure happiness. Dave held him all clumsy like, grinning ear to ear, saying Ethan looked more like me than him. Those early years, I stayed home with Ethan, taking care of every little thing, diapers, lullabies, bedtime stories. But as he got older, the bills piled up, and I had to go back to work. I didn't want to. I begged Dave to find a better job, but he said his gig was stable. Didn't want to risk it. So I nodded, gritted my teeth, and went back to the grind. I remember nights holding Ethan as he fell asleep. Him whispering, "Mommy, stay home with me." I'd just smile, ruffle his hair, promise that one day I'd take a break. Be there for him. But that day never came. Time went on, and I got tired. Double shifts every day. Coming home with aching feet and an empty head. I didn't have time for Ethan anymore. He grew up, 15 now, and I let him do his own thing, play video games. Do homework. Figure it out. I thought that's how you let a kid grow up. I thought I was doing the right thing. Dave was home more than me. Playing with Ethan, watching TV together. I'd see that and feel relieved. Thinking at least my boy wasn't alone. I didn't realize the gaps I was leaving in Ethan's life. In this house, we're quietly opening a door I never even saw. Then that day happened. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I got off early for once, rare as hell. I dragged myself home with heavy grocery bags. Arms sore, but my heart was light because I figured I'd get to have dinner with Dave and Ethan. As I got to the door, I heard laughter from the living room. Ethan's bright, carefree laugh. Dave teasing him about something. I smiled, picturing them playing video games like usual. I pushed the door open, ready to call out, "I'm home." But then I froze. There, on the couch, between Dave and Ethan, was a woman, blonde, maybe 30, a good decade younger than me. She was holding a game controller, laughing like she owned the place. I stood there, bags slipping from my hands to the floor. But no one noticed. Ethan yelled, "Mom, come help me. Dad's about to win." I went numb. Who was he calling Mom? Me? Or her? Dave turned around, his face going pale. He jumped up, stumbling over his words. "Lisa, this is Jen, a coworker. She just moved nearby. I invited her over to hang out. That's all. Jen looked at me and smiled, but it wasn't a warm smile. Her eyes were sharp, cold, like she was daring me. Like she was saying, "I'm here, and what are you gonna do about it?" I nodded, trying to keep it together. But inside, it felt like a storm was brewing. I looked at Ethan, my son, still grinning like nothing was wrong. Like he didn't see his mom dying inside. I picked up the bags, walked to the kitchen without a word. But my mind was spinning. Why did Ethan call her Mom? Dave mumbled something behind me, but I couldn't hear it. All I could hear was my heart pounding, and this awful gut feeling crashing over me, choking me. I'd always thought 22 years of marriage was a solid wall. I thought I knew Dave, knew Ethan, knew my own family, but in that moment, I realized something was happening right under my nose, and I'd been blind to it. I stood in the kitchen, hands shaking as I unpacked the groceries, but my eyes blurred. I didn't cry, I wouldn't let myself cry, but the pain in my chest was so big I couldn't breathe. I kept asking myself, is this the beginning of the end? Have I already lost something I didn't even know was slipping away? I don't know, but one thing I do know, I'm not letting this go without a fight. Not a chance. After Jen left that Saturday, I tried to talk to Dave. I stood there in the kitchen, still holding a can of soup from the grocery bags, and asked him, "Who is she? Really? Why's she here?" He laughed it off, that nervous chuckle he does when he's hiding something. "Lisa, you're making a mountain out of a molehill," he said. "Jen's just a friend from work. She's new in town, doesn't know anyone, so I told her she could hang out here sometimes. She's been coming over when you're at your night shifts, bringing takeout, playing video games with Ethan so he's not lonely." I stared at him, trying to read his face. He wouldn't look me in the eye. Then I asked about Ethan calling her Mom. Dave shrugged, grinned like it was nothing. "Oh, that? He's just messing around. Jen spoils him, lets him eat junk food, stays up late. You're always tired, Lisa, always snapping at him. He's a kid. He likes her better right now." That hit me like a punch. My own husband telling me my son likes this woman more because I'm too worn out to be the mom I want to be. I wanted to believe him, to trust that it was innocent, but something in my gut wouldn't let it go. That feeling stuck with me, gnawing at me every day after. I'd go to work, ring up groceries, smile at customers, but all I could think about was Jen sitting on my couch, laughing with my family. I started watching Ethan closer when I was home, those rare hours between shifts. He'd barely talk to me, just grunt answers or lock himself in his room with his games. I told myself it was teenage stuff, that he was pulling away because of his age. I'd been so busy keeping this house afloat, I hadn't noticed how far apart we'd grown. But then, one night, I couldn't take it anymore. I was cleaning his room, something I hadn't done in months because I'm always exhausted, and I opened his desk drawer. Just tidying up, that's when I found it. A little wooden box, tucked under some old school papers. I opened it, and my heart stopped. Inside was a photo, Ethan and Jen at the park, smiling, her arm around him like he was hers. There was a cheap little bracelet, the kind you get at a dollar store, and a folded note. I unfolded it with shaking hands. It said, "Ethan, you're the greatest gift I could ask for. Thank you for calling me Mom." My knees buckled. I sat there on his bedroom floor, staring at those words, feeling like the air had been sucked out of me. Mom, my son, my baby, calling her that. And she was thanking him for it. I don't know how long I sat there. But eventually, I stormed downstairs with that box in my hands. Dave was on the couch, watching TV. I threw it at him, hard. "What the hell is this?" I yelled. He jumped up, face red, shouting back, "Are you crazy? It's just a gift. Lisa, don't blow this out of proportion." His voice was loud, but his eyes were dodging mine again. I wasn't letting it go. I turned to Ethan, who'd come out of his room hearing the commotion. "Tell me the truth," I begged him. "What's going on?" He wouldn't look at me. He just stared at the floor, mumbling, "Jen cares about me. You're always busy. Mom, always yelling at me. I asked you once to quit your job. Stay home, but you wouldn't." I froze. He was right. I remembered that day. Maybe a year ago, when he'd begged me to stop working so much. I'd brushed it off, told him we needed the money, that I was doing it for him. I thought he'd gotten over it. But hearing him say that now, it was like a knife twisting in me. My own son felt abandoned by me, and I hadn't even seen it. I'd thought he was just being a moody teenager. But I was wrong, so wrong. Dave stormed out after that fight, muttering about needing fresh air. I didn't sleep that night. I waited till he was snoring, then grabbed his phone. I've known his passcode forever, used it to pay bills back when we shared everything. I scrolled through his texts, and there it was, a message from Jay, "Be careful with Lisa. Keep things smooth, okay?" My hands shook so bad I almost dropped the phone. I screenshotted it, tears streaming down my face, not from sadness, but from rage, pure, burning rage. I sat there in the dark, replaying everything. That Saturday when I walked in, Jen's cold smile, Ethan's innocent laugh, they weren't accidents. She wasn't just some coworker popping by. She'd been worming her way into my family while I was breaking my back at work. And Dave? He wasn't just letting it happen, he was in on it. I thought about those nights I'd come home late, too tired to check in with Ethan, trusting Dave to hold things together. All that time, she was here, taking my place, and Ethan, my sweet boy, didn't even see how she was using him. He thought she cared, thought she was better than me because I couldn't be there. I'd been so blind, so caught up in surviving that I didn't see my family slipping away. I don't know what's coming next. Part of me wants to scream, to confront them both and tear this whole lie apart. But another part of me is terrified I've already lost Ethan for good. That 22 years with Dave mean nothing now. I'm angry, I'm hurt, but I'm not done. I've got that screenshot, that box, that note. I'm not letting this go without answers. I've spent too long keeping this house standing to let some stranger walk in and take it all away. Not without a fight. I couldn't take it anymore. That screenshot from Dave's phone, that little wooden box with Jen's note, it was all I could think about. Every shift at the grocery store, every quiet moment at home. It ate at me. I had to know the truth. All of it. No more excuses or half answers. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I called in sick to work. Told Dave I was pulling a late shift. But instead, I hid. I parked my car a block away, crept back to the house, and crouched behind the fence like some kind of spy. I peeked through the living room window. And there she was, Jen. She walked in like she owned the place, carrying a pizza box, smiling that smug little smile. Dave came up behind her, wrapped his arms around her waist, kissed her neck. Ethan was right there, giggling at his game, not even looking up. It was like I was watching a different family, one that didn't include me. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened. my hands clenched into fists. And before I knew it, I was barging through the front door. "What the hell are you doing?" I screamed. Dave shoved Jen away so fast you'd think she was on fire, his face turning red. "Lisa, you're losing it," he yelled. "This is my house. I can invite whoever I want. You've been neglecting Ethan for years, don't act like the victim now." His words hit hard, but Jen's voice cut deeper. She stepped forward, calm as ice, and said, "Lisa, I don't want trouble, but Ethan needs me more than he needs you." I couldn't believe she had the nerve to say that to my face. I turned to Ethan, my voice breaking. "Tell me, baby, who do you want? Me or her?" He didn't even hesitate. He ran to Jen, threw his arms around her, and shouted, "I hate you, Mom. Jen's better than you, she's always been better." I sank to my knees right there in the living room. My own son, the boy I'd raised, hated me. I couldn't move, couldn't speak. It was like the floor had swallowed me whole. But it didn't end there. I don't know what made me do it, maybe instinct, maybe rage, but I lunged for Dave's jacket on the couch and started digging through the pockets. He yelled, "What are you doing?" and tried to grab it. But I was faster. I pulled out a folded piece of paper, an ultrasound photo. A tiny blurry shape. A baby. I held it up, shaking, and looked at him. "What is this?" Dave's face went white. Then he slumped onto the couch, rubbing his hands over his head. "Okay, fine," he muttered. "Jen's pregnant. It's mine. It's been going on for 2 years. 2 years. 2 years of them sneaking around, meeting at her place a few streets over while I was working nights, thinking I was holding our family together. Jen just stood there, arms crossed, not even pretending to be sorry." Then Dave kept talking, like he couldn't stop now that the dam had broken. He said Jen had gotten close to Ethan on purpose, bringing him snacks, playing games, telling him about the baby like it was some big happy surprise for all of us. I looked at Ethan, my voice barely a whisper. "Is that true?" He nodded, still clinging to Jen. "She said the baby was for our family," he said. I was confused at first. Didn't know what to think. But she told me it'd be okay. I want to be a big brother. My heart shattered all over again. She'd manipulated him, twisted his head around until he saw her as the hero and me as the enemy. He didn't even realize what she'd done, how she'd used him to wedge herself into our lives. I don't remember much after that. I think I screamed at Dave, at Jen, at the whole damn world. I told them to get out. But Dave just laughed, bitter and cold. "This is my house too. Lisa, you don't get to kick me out." Jen smirked, like she'd already won. Ethan wouldn't even look at me, he just followed her to the kitchen like a lost puppy. I stumbled upstairs, locked myself in the bedroom, and sat on the edge of the bed, staring at that ultrasound photo I'd dropped on the floor. 2 years. 2 years of lies. Of them building this secret life while I was breaking my back at work. And Ethan, my Ethan, hating me because I couldn't be there. Because I'd trusted Dave to take care of him. I'd thought I was doing it all for them. Sacrificing my time, my energy, my everything. But they didn't see it that way. To them, I was the one who'd failed. I cried that night, really cried. For the first time in years. Not those quiet tears I'd held back before. But loud, ugly sobs that shook my whole body. I cried for the 22 years I'd given Dave. For the little boy who used to beg me to stay home. For the family I thought I had. But the more I cried, the angrier I got. Jen didn't just stumble into this, she'd planned it. Wormed her way in, turned my own son against me. And Dave let her. He didn't just cheat, he handed her my life on a silver platter. I thought about that note in Ethan's box. Her thanking him for calling her Mom. She didn't care about him, she was using him to lock Dave in. To make herself untouchable. And Ethan, my sweet, confused boy, bought it hook, line, and sinker. By morning, I was a wreck. But I wasn't broken, not yet. I picked up that ultrasound photo, stuffed it in my pocket, and made a decision. I wasn't running away from this. I'd spent too long fighting to keep this family afloat to let them tear it apart and leave me with nothing. I didn't know how deep this went, how much more they were hiding. But I was going to find out. I wasn't just some tired, overworked mom they could push aside. I'd been blind, sure, but my eyes were wide open now. Jen thought she'd won. Dave thought he could talk his way out of it. And Ethan, God, Ethan, thought she was his savior. They were wrong, all of them. I didn't know what I'd do next. But I knew one thing. This wasn't over. Not by a long shot. Those days after I found that ultrasound photo were pure hell. I'd confronted Dave and Jen, heard Ethan scream that he hated me, and watched my whole world collapse right there in my living room. I kicked Dave out that night, or tried to. He wouldn't leave, just kept saying it was his house too. His voice dripping with that smug entitlement I'd never noticed before. Ethan was sobbing, clinging to Jen, begging to go with her and Dave. He looked at me like I was the monster, yelling, "You're too strict. Mom, you're never here. Jen takes care of me, she promised me a real family." Every word was a dagger, sharper than the last. Jen just stood there, stroking his hair, whispering something I couldn't hear, like she was the saint in all this. I couldn't fight anymore that night. I locked myself in the bedroom, listened to them leave, and let the silence swallow me. The next week was a blur of pain I can't even describe. Ethan wouldn't talk to me. He stayed with Dave at Jen's place a few streets over. I'd drive by sometimes, late after work, and see the lights on, hear laughter drifting out the windows. My son was there, living with her, while I sat alone in this house that didn't feel like mine anymore. Then Jen texted me. I still remember every word. "Lisa, I don't want you to suffer. But Ethan's chosen me. I'm having Dave's baby soon. And he'll be a big brother. I just want what's best for him." I stared at that message, my blood boiling. Best for him? She'd stolen my family, and now she was playing the martyr? I typed back, hands shaking. "You planned this from the start, didn't you?" Her reply was quick, calm, like she'd rehearsed it. "I just wanted a family. And Dave gave me that." That was it, no apology, no shame. She'd won, and she knew it. I couldn't sleep after that. I'd lie in bed, replaying everything. Those nights I'd come home exhausted, trusting Dave to look after Ethan, the times Ethan begged me to stay home. And I'd said no. That Saturday I walked in and saw Jen on my couch. It all made sense now. She'd been there for months, maybe years, filling the gaps I'd left behind. She didn't just take Dave, she took Ethan too. Turned him against me with her fake smiles and promises of a happy family. And Dave? He didn't even fight for us. He'd checked out long ago, leaving me to carry everything while he built a new life behind my back. I felt so stupid, so used. I'd spent 22 years pouring my heart into this marriage, breaking my body at that damn grocery store to keep us afloat. And this was what I got: my son hating me, my husband gone, and some stranger carrying his kid. One night, I couldn't take it anymore. I pulled out an old shoebox from the closet, full of Ethan's baby pictures, birthday cards, little drawings he'd made me. I sat there on the living room floor, flipping through them, remembering the way he'd cling to me when he was little. How he'd giggle when I tickled him. "Mommy's my best friend," he'd say. Where did that go? When did I lose him? I thought about those times he'd asked me to stay home. His big eyes pleading, and how I'd brushed it off, thinking I was doing the right thing. I didn't see how much he needed me, not the money. Not the house. Just me. Jen saw it, though. She swooped in, played the mom I couldn't be. And now he was hers. I gathered those pictures, took them out to the backyard, and lit a fire in the old grill. One by one, I tossed them in, watching the flames eat up those memories. It didn't feel good, it hurt like hell, but I couldn't keep holding onto a past that wasn't mine anymore. Ethan's voice kept ringing in my head. "I hate you. Mom. Jen's better." It wouldn't stop. But as the fire died down, something shifted in me. I wasn't crying anymore. I was done feeling sorry for myself. Yeah, I'd messed up. I'd been too busy, too tired, too blind. But I wasn't the only one at fault here. Dave betrayed me. Jen manipulated my son. And Ethan, he was just a kid. Confused and hurt. But she'd twisted that into something ugly. I wasn't going to let her keep him forever. Not like this. The next morning, I wiped my face, picked up the phone, and called a lawyer. I didn't care how long it took or how much it cost. I was fighting for custody. Not out of spite, not to punish anyone, but because I'm still his mom. I carried him, raised him, loved him through every sleepless night. Jen might have him fooled now. But I know my boy. He's lost in her lies. And I'm not giving up until he sees the truth. I sat down with the lawyer that afternoon. Laid it all out, the affair. The ultrasound. The way Jen got into Ethan's head. I showed him the screenshot from Dave's phone. The note from that wooden box. Everything I had. He nodded, scribbled notes, and said I had a shot, not a guarantee. But a shot. Ethan's 15, old enough to have a say in court. And right now, he'd choose Jen and Dave. That stung. But I wasn't surprised. The lawyer told me to build a case, prove she's unfit. Show how she's manipulated him. It wouldn't be easy, and it might take months. But I didn't care. I'd spent too long letting life happen to me, working myself to death. Trusting Dave, ignoring Ethan's cries for help. No more. I was taking control, even if it meant tearing everything down to start over. That night, I stood in the kitchen, looking out at the dark backyard where those pictures had burned. I thought about Ethan, how he's probably sitting with Jen right now. Laughing, calling her Mom, waiting for that baby like it's some fairy tale. It kills me, but I can't hate him. He's my son, even if he doesn't know it anymore. I thought about Dave, too, 22 years. And he threw it away like it was nothing. And Jen, God, I want to scream in her face. Make her feel half the pain she's caused me. But I won't. I'm saving my fight for the courtroom. For Ethan, I don't know if I'll win, hell. I don't even know if he'll ever forgive me. But I'm not walking away. I've lost too much already. And I'll be damned if I let her take him for good. This isn't over, not until I say it is.